Hello, welcome to our preview for the Prix de Arc de Triomphe coming from Longchamp on this coming Sunday. We are currently recording on Monday at 10 to 6, so that'll be the basis for all the prices that we give you, and also we'll go into the weather forecast, of course, as well. That is probably a good place to start. It's been subjects of quite a few of our tweets recently, and something you pay very close attention, Daniel. So what's it saying? What's the ground looking like? And how's that affecting your point of view right now?
Ground about 4 or 5 days ago was really soft. It's been drying. They've had almost no rain. It's now into probably English good to soft. It will dry further. But in the last 6-7 hours, pretty much every weather forecast has started to agree there will be rain in Paris this weekend. What they don't agree on, of course, because it's too far away, is how much. And that changes everything. I think one of the reasons I suggested doing this preview tonight was because until the band of rain moves through on Saturday and you actually get the ground, possibly on Sunday morning, we won't actually know for sure what the ground will be like. And that matters to so many of these horses that we thought, let's put it out there and go through the field now rather than wait till Sunday morning, because it's open and it's an unknown.
Yeah, and we'll try and sort of bring in ground considerations or mention what they'll prefer when we run through each of the horses. And the plan very much is to run through each and every horse. And the reason for that is it's a very open arc this year. We think there are very few without that are not in contention. And is there anything more you'd like to add, Daniel, before we get straight into it, starting with Minnie Hauk?
Just corroborate what you said there. I'm looking at the time form ratings, and the top 10, 11 in the betting are covered by a few pounds. Really, a few pounds. This is a tight market. It's one of the reasons I'm not so keen on horses right at the top, because they're not standout on the ratings.
No, but what Minnie Hauk might be stand out on is obviously the weight carry. She'll only be carrying 8 stone 9, whereas the 4-year-old colts will be, or the 4-year-old colts plus will be 9 stone 5. So a decent chunk of weight there towards the end of the season for Minnie Hauk. She is unbeaten this year, taken 3 of the Oaks, the English, the Yorkshire, and the Irish. And she arguably looked most impressive in her last run, which was the Yorkshire Oaks. As you mentioned, it's very open, so I suspect you'll be looking elsewhere. But does she deserve to be favourite, Minnie Hauk?
Oh yeah, no, I get this. Was co-favourite and now a pure clear favourite, isn't she? I've got to confess, I was a sceptic, and there was someone famously from the Racing Post described her as a slow old boat a few weeks ago and got lambasted on social media. I've got to say, before the Yorkshire Oaks, I wouldn't have gone that far, but I was not a believer at all. That I had to reconsider. But the time was so good. Whether a Strange turned up or fully not on the ground is one thing, but you can't run a time like that without being top draw. So if the weather holds, she's got a massive chance. Don't quite like the fact that we've never seen her against the boys. It's not like she's taken in the King George and proved herself. So I'll duck her at 4 to 1 and many places 7 to 2, isn't it? How about you? I'm neutral to slightly unattractive. I'm certainly not saying she can't win. What about you?
Yeah, I'd probably be bang on neutral, to be honest with you. Love the 3-year-old filly angle, but I don't know if you found this as well when watching the Coolmore Aiden horses. It feels a bit weird not having Ryan Moore on board. It takes away a degree of confidence that you would have felt beforehand. So I think that is weighed into it for me. It's obviously such an unbelievable partnership.
We assume Sumi's on board, do we? They haven't said anything. And then Lorden gets Los Angeles. Okay.
Yeah. After his ride on Delacroix, I'd be surprised if they're chucking him off. But we'll see. Next in the betting, we've got Aventure at 9 to 2. She's a horse that we put up a few weeks ago, maybe even a couple of months ago at 16 to 1, and she is very, very close to favouritism after a very good run in the trial. What do you think of her price at 9 to 2?
Don't like it at all. Love the filly. It was my first anti-post bet on the Arc, indeed, this one. But she's now a quarter of the price when we gave her a really favourable mention. She won the Vermeer. That's great. Blue Stocking did that. And she was second to Kalpana. That's really decent quality form. But I don't think she's a star. I just think she's very, very good. No, very, very good might do it. But in an open year, I'm slightly against. If the rain comes, and I think you can not chuck out, but you can downgrade the chances of many of these. She'll have no problem with the rain at all, possibly might even prefer it. Then I go to pure neutral, even at this price. But at the moment, until I know it's going to go soft, it's just too short.
Yeah, no, in agreement there, would not be rushing to get on at 92. Next in the best one, we've got the first of the Japanese Croix Du Nord coming in here off the back of winning the Prix D'Orange, I think it is, or so, words to that effect, where he beat Darus by a short head over 1 mile 2 on very soft ground, according to the Racing Post. He's pretty unexposed Japanese horse, the pick of their contenders, do you reckon?
Yes, this guy is going to win this. No, okay, hang on. A couple of caveats. I don't like the rain coming. I thought he looked uncomfortable on ground. It wasn't actually that soft. Time form called the Prix du Prince d'Orange good to soft. It was considered much softer by the French authorities, but wasn't. Didn't look that comfortable. He was carrying the Group 1 penalty, though. He was carrying a double penalty. Dara's a single penalty, and the two were clear. I mean, they were the class colts of that race. But when Japanese, they're going to win this 1 year. They've got the deepest pool of talent. This is their best colt. He won the French Derby. The French Derby. He won the Japanese Derby. He has got to run well if the ground is riding fast. So I'll wait until Saturday, and I think if the rain proves to be less and it's fastish going, good, or even on the fast side of good, I shovel more chips on this boy. But yeah, I'm out and neutral if it's soft.
Yeah, he's never gone off bigger than 7 to 5 across his 5 career starts, which tells you how good he is, and also the esteem the market holds in him. So I suspect, as you mentioned, if it is good ground, but 8 to 1 will be long gone.
I think he hated every bit of that soft ground, but still won. There's so much class there. There's so much class.
Cool. Next in the betting, we have got Byzantine Dream, who probably surprised quite a few of us last time out. Clearly, you don't hold him in the same esteem as Croix Du Nord, but do you like him at 10 to 1?
I wouldn't have given this guy prayer a few weeks ago. Then I went into Paris and saw those trials, analysed the data. This was the fastest trial by some way, the Prix Foy. And this guy absolutely cruised into it. It was the last horse off the bridle. And he goes and beats Soci if essentially relatively comfortably. Now, Farb will have left more to work on, but so do the Japanese trainers say this guy would be. And this guy stays forever. He's, just touched off in Group 1 over 2 miles. So he's got the stamina. On a fast pace at Longchamp over 12 furlongs, he can travel like a dream, like a Byzantine dream. I fear him. But the trainer's absolutely adamant he does not want anything to do with soft ground. And I think he's got some poor soft ground showing back in Japan, so that might explain that. It's a weather watch. Great each way if it's riding fast, this guy, I would have thought. As whether or not Soci can turn around the form is something we'll talk about in a minute.
Yeah. We'll move straight on to Soci at 10 to 1. And would you have them priced the same, Soci and Byzantine Dream?
It's almost an impossible question to answer until I know the ground. Soci is more handle, not anything. He doesn't want it hock deep at all. Last year was really soft. He was favourite, if you recall. Last year was 4th. He ran well. Probably stronger horse here. Probably a better horse this year. So he's a real player. I just can't get out of my head why he was made to look a little bit workmanlike by the Japanese horse in the Prix Foy. Unless Farber left a lot more to work on, as in he was much less fit than Byzantine Dream. You feel Soci's got to run well, but I don't know what to do with the fact, how's he going to turn that form around with the Japanese horse? I'm not sure. Jury out. A totally viable bet. I get people betting Soci.
Yeah. Consistent sort of horse, Soci, despite his poor performance at Sandown. Next in the betting, we've got Alohi Alii, another Japanese horse. Interestingly, the same price as Qualif at 16 to 1, who he beat 3 3/4 lengths when they met at Deauville early in the season. Another strong contender, I'd have thought, for the Japanese, and another potential each way angle.
another genuine contender on the basis of that Prix Guillaume d'Ornano, which is, of course, a well-known trial and has thrown up a couple of art winners in the last sort of 6-7 years. I don't know where that grace came from. His Japanese form is not very good. He wasn't, shouldn't be fit to lace Croix Du Nord's boots. And yet, that performance, where did it come from? I'm actually tempted to take a cynical view and say that he beat Rashabar and an unfit Qualificar, and that's a standalone piece of form. He surely can't do it. Again, I could be wrong about that because the game has got him a big rating. He's not far off top rated, but I'm suspicious.
Okay. Yeah, another horse with close interlinked form then is the aforementioned Qualificar. He was second in the French Derby to Camille Pizarro, then was third behind Alohi Alii, and then finally he got his nose in front again in the Prix, is it, or is it the? I always forget the names of these.
So then, yeah, he's the 3-year-old, yeah.
Where he beat Bay City Roller by about a head. Looked very much the weakest of the trials on the day, and I think 16-1, he's probably one to leave, isn't he?
Yeah, negatives. You're absolutely right. Looked the weakest of the trials. He was beaten by Alohi Alii easily the time before. However, the positives are classic campaign of 2 halves. Ran really well to be second in the Prix du Jockey Club. Then he's given a rest. He's not fit, not remotely fit for the Prix d'Ornano. Fabre make that clear. He then improves again in the Niel. And he's blocked in. And he was an easy winner of that race if you take out the fact that he was blocked. By far the best. So now he's presumably Andre Fabre pitch perfect. Can you throw him out? I'll put it this way, I wouldn't want to lay him if I was a bookmaker. He will not be one of my horses to win the Arc on my rather large collection of betting slips for the Arc this year. But he's one I fear. I get it. No, I just on the balance of the form on that really slow Niel, there are too many good horses here. I don't want to, but I do fear Fabre's record. Okay.
Darus is next in the betting. Well, also at 16-1. There's a whole bunch of them at 16-1. Disappointed in the Judmont when going into the race quite unexposed, and then, as mentioned, finished a short ahead behind Croix Du Nord. Another horse at 16s that I wouldn't have any interest in.
I think I'd probably be a ground, upgrade downgrade system here. I mean, one reason why he flopped at York, maybe his first, experience of lightning fast ground. I mean, he wasn't just beaten there. I mean, he was just dreadful in that race, wasn't he? But it was a funny race. I agree. Whatever Delacroix managed to go on, looked like the king of them all at Leopardstown on the back of his third there. So maybe we forgive that. Only debuted in April, this guy, but better. And his Prix du Prince d'Or, that trial with Croix Du Nord, they were both carrying penalties. So Darus is carrying penalty as well, and he was given an absolutely dreadful ride by my most hated jockey on the planet. Not hated, that's a horrible word to use. My least favourite jockey on the planet, whose name I won't mention. And many people felt he should have won. I don't know, arguably, possibly he should have done. He will like that soft ground. The 2 questions you've got with Darus is, he's, I think, one of the only horses unraced over 12 furlongs. So it's been done. Ace Impact did this, but it's a question mark. But the other thing is the ground. I think I upgrade him on soft ground, and I don't want him on fast at all. But yeah, let's see. Again, he's not a throwout, James, for me at all. I'm not backing.
Okay, interesting. And another one for Mr. Graffard is Gazora at 16-1, and of his 2 here at 16s, I would have her a good bit shorter than Darus. She obviously won the French Oaks, and then she looked really quite taking on her comeback run behind Aventure in the Prix Vermeil. It was off a long layoff. She probably was not at 100% fitness, but she looked like she cruised into the race and just was too far behind under that jockey that you don't particularly seem to like. But still, yeah, beat Bedtime Story, beat Survey, some decent fillies. Will obviously disappointed, but yeah, I think there could be more to come from a 3-year-old filly who gets away. Mr. Gaffard lines up quite nicely for me.
So do I. I think if anyone were to play the race now, I think it's almost one of the most attractive bets. It's not too distant. When we put her up in an article, was it 20-1? We put her up. It's not that much shorter now. But I suppose one of the reasons why she's a decent bet now, I suppose the others, you have to kind of wait and see with the weather. I think she'll care either way what the weather does. Daughter of Almanzor. But you're right to point out that there was that break. She wins the Prix Diane, and we know about Arc winners who come from the Prix Diane. That's been done before. And to be given such a long break, to come back in the Vermeil, run so well, ridden far too far off a pace that just slowed to a crawl 4 or 5 furlongs out, and then they sprinted. And Gazora, of all the horses who ran in the trials, and there are about 7 or 8 of them in this arc, or 7 of them at least, she ran the fastest through the final 3 furlongs. She's good, this one. I don't know if she's good enough to beat an arc field, but it feels to me if her price hovers when the extra places come, hovers around 16-1.
Yeah,
really been each way. I'm on already, and I might go in again if they feel
yeah. If you back them all, you can't lose, eh? And Kalpana, another 16-1 shot. She was favourite for a long time for this race, with connections hoping she would replicate Blue Stockings' performance last year. She disappointed last time out, coming second to Giavellotto, although Balding did born. It was a bit of a, it was all about the arc and not obviously about the September stakes. 16-1, has she drifted to a backable price?
Part of me feels she was never that good. I was always a bit suspicious about that champion fillies and mares run at Ascot at the back end of last year. She'd be, relatively speaking, compared to this field, she'd be nothing. Yeah. So suddenly to be sort of winter favourite for an arc, it's like eyeball rolling time. And since then, she's been beaten 4 times. It was like, do you know what I mean? So why was she ever 6-1 favourite? I don't get it. But then she goes and scares. I mean, it takes Calandigan at his best to run her down in the King George. Calandigan at his best here, what price would he be? Be clear favourite. All this is good, and she's got to run well. And then there's that shocking Kempton Stakes run. I don't know. What do you do? Was she off colour that day? By the way, before the champion fillies and mares last year, she was brilliant at Kempton's. There's nothing to do with that all-weather surface. I don't know what to do with that. I don't know what to do with her. She's now a decent price, but if she runs like she did last time, she hasn't got a prayer. So shrug your shoulders, see if she drifts to something silly on the day, and put a few covering quid on Betfair. That's what I can say, really. I do. By the way, the ground thing, I think it's complete nonsense. And this is outrageous, I know, of me to say that I know and the trainer doesn't. I'm sorry, that it does sound embarrassingly crass. But what are they talking about that they won't cut for her? That King George has been rated as like lightning fast ground in retrospect, and it's the best run of her career, quite clearly. What is their problem? They were worried about the champion filly mares before they went in there, worried about the ground being too soft. I remember them saying it. So I have no idea what the fuss is about this one on the ground, but you might get it.
Yeah. Excuses lined up potentially. I don't know. That's the best one. We've got another 4-year-old filly or mare, Estrange, 25-1. She was very, very exciting in the first start of the season, and then she sort of somewhat stumbled across the line in a Group 3 where everyone was a bit disappointed and the bubble was burst. But then she went to the Yorkshire Oaks, and on ground that she wouldn't have liked, she ran a very solid race behind Minnie Hauk. She's then been trimmed back in now to 25-1, and she may or may not get her ground, which are more likely to than she will in York, and therefore at 25 is she of interest.
This is the one horse of the 16 in the field for which, more than even the Japanese ones in soft ground, this is the one horse for which the weather is absolutely critical. If it rides fast, they won't run her, and if they run her, I don't think she's got a prayer. If it rides proper soft, she's got a monster chance, I think. I'd like to talk her up this one. So 2 back, Lancashire Oaks. Sure, scrambled home from Scenic, but the pace was slow and she's not a sprinting type. We don't know how good Scenic was they were 8 lengths clear. Scenics, I think, now been retired, injured, or something like that.
Yeah.
So I think it was probably better than it looked. And then last time, ground was far too fast for her. I'm very surprised Mara run her in the Yorkshire Oaks, 3 lengths behind Minnie Hauk on ground she didn't like. If it had been a bog that day, I reckon she would have beaten Minnie Hauk. That's my gut feeling. Could be completely wrong, but I would give this horse every chance in a soft ground arc and no chance at all in a good ground arc. And we won't know till Sunday morning what we're going to get.
Okay, yeah, wait and see then with the Strange. But next in the betting, we have got Giavellotto, who will have waited a long time in his career to win an arc. I don't know if any other 6-year-olds would have won. Beat Kalpana in the September Stakes. You were heavily questioning her running that race, which makes me think you're not particularly drawn to Giavellotto.
With an asterisk mark. No, I'm not interested in the 6-year-old who's going for his first arc, apart from one thing. That run, 4 runs ago, shot in Hong Kong Vase. It was a slow pace, 12 furlongs, and he absolutely scythed from the field from the very back. It was extraordinary performance. If it had been, another horse from a big stable, whatever, with the big breed behind it, one would have been heralding a new superstar. Then somehow it didn't happen again. Soft ground behind Jan Bruegel at Epsom. Don't think he cared for the track particularly as well. No, the Kempton form tells me nothing about him. But what I need to know, I can't know until 4:05 French time on Sunday, is whether the Giavellotto who went to Hong Kong turns up. Because if he is, he's close to top rated, and if he delivers that performance and the ground is good, then he's got a squeak.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, I mean, by that argument, I would have thought at 33s you'd be a little.
Yeah, but I chuck a tenner each way over him with 33s, and the heavens open, and he's withdrawn. That's the worst of all. Or he's got no chance because it's too soft. So it's a ground watch. I don't know if there'll be a plunge on him. There's too many good horses on this. One to wait on.
Los Angeles does have form on both good and softer ground. So is he a horse that you'd be interested in playing now, or is he just not attractive, irrespective of the ground?
He was my second anti-post bet on this market, and I watched.
As they said,
I watched. No, bigger than that. Probably not dissimilar to where I got him now. It might have been at the end of last season or something like that. Aventure was certainly at the end of last season, I think. But no, what worries me about this one is that they've what I call slightly potentially ruined him. They said all along the 2025 will be about the Arc. And then they proceed to act in completely other way. He's going to have a heavy early season campaign and try and win a couple of Group 1s, start value over 10 furlongs. That worked. His comeback is good, wins well, and then wins well in a Tassel called Cup Fast Time. A couple of hard luck stories behind, possibly. But it was a really good run. This is a really good horse. Then they take him to the Prince of Wales, 3rd run on fast ground, and a lightning, suicidal fast pace set by stablemate, and he falls in a hole. And AOB admits, this is he's going to have some time off now. He's really hurting from that race. I bet he is. And the question is whether or not they bottomed him, because his comeback, it doesn't bother me at all. The comeback, they said he'd need the run, usual spiel, but absolutely he would. They're being gentle back to the Arc. So dreadful first run. Last time in the Foy, a lot of people were disappointed, saying, Los Angeles gone the game. That was a very fast pace, and he was in the teeth of it. And the horses that beat him held a bit off it. So that and the fact that he may step forward for fitness again. What I'm saying is, if they haven't bottomed him, and they may have, in which case he hasn't got a prayer and he'll finish in the second half of the field, if they haven't bottomed him, he's not impossible, this guy, as long as the ground's not fast. So it's a weather watch, and there's also pray he's still the horse that he was before they ruined him in the spring. Yeah.
Aidan sounded reasonably optimistic in an interview I saw from over the weekend out at Newmarket, the car. And it is just him and Minnie Hauk.
Yeah, and sorry, there's the one thing in my mind I forgot to say that really worries me. For all that theoretically this was his seasonal aim, is he actually now Minnie Hauk's pacemaker? He's not going to win this Arc if he goes from the front.
No, I don't think they will from a breeding point of view. I'd be shocked if they sent him.
So we look through this, and who else is going to make the running? I'm struggling. I'm struggling to find a single horse that is going to make the running in this race. And I'm just scratching my head about it. I think, hang on, this is crazy. No one's going to make the running unless Los Angeles does.
And you still,
Giavellotto.
even if he makes a running slow pace, great track position, you don't think he could win making all?
Oh, if he were able to dictate slow fractions, yeah. But yeah, it's all speculative, isn't it? But do you know what I mean about the pace? It's a weird one. It's a weird one.
Yeah, I mean, I'd thought if they're looking to supplement Minnie Hauk and they want a strong pace for her, maybe they'd supplement something else, or had they removed continuous for this race? If you Galvin with that.
Poor old continuous. He was such a bad pacemaker. I feel so sorry for that horse.
Yeah. Right, we'll move on to a very difficult to pronounce name, Quisisana. She's next in betting, unbeaten in 3 starts this season. Another one for Monsieur Graffard. Do you like their chances at 33s?
Yeah, no, for Monsieur Graffard, by the way, who's 2.4 million clear of Andre Fabre in the French Championship. This guy's surely going to win an Arc soon, and he's got 3 darts here. And I wouldn't write off this outside one. She missed a whole season, only started as a 3-year-old. Won her first 2, then missed a season, and she's just progressed, built her slowly back up. And she's impressed Graffard so much. I think we said it before the Jean Romani in our preview, that it was Graffard's decision that she's running so well. She should be supplemented for that. So, and he clearly rates this filly. She's a winner when she got there. On the form book, she's got more to find than almost any other horse in the race. I can't throw her out. I'm not going to back her, but I cannot completely discount her. She won that Romane easily. That said, who did she beat? Servi by 2 lengths. Servi got pretty well whipped. Eva May. Was she beaten about beaten about 3.5, 4 lengths by the likes of Aventure. So yeah, on the line through that, if you can believe that, then she's still got stuff to find. But she's still relatively unexposed for a 5-year-old.
Yeah, she is. And fillies and mares can improve at different stages of their careers, can't they? So she could be one to watch, especially when each way places. Next in the betting, we've got Lefal, who is another horse that we put up alongside Gazora after the trials, thinking that they'd drifted out to too large a price after quite a poor showing. Do you stand by those arguments made?
Yeah, we put this guy up at 66 to 1, and he's still 50s now. My concern was that there was a speculative element to that putting him up. The speculative being, would I be sure he'd run? Because when he only finished 6th of 8 in the trial, trainer Rouget rightly said, "Look, we'll see how he is. We think we will probably still go for it, but we'll see how he is." We knew he was only half fit. The arguments that they were at maximum 80% fit. I mean, I hate these percentages that trainers come up with. You think, how do they pluck them out of the air? How do they come up with precise figures? But both he and Arrow Eagle ran badly. Same trainer. They were both said, their respective trials, Foy and Niel, they were both said to be completely undercooked for them. And they ran like it, except Lefar, who was held well off that pace, ran the fastest last 3 furlongs. Really, really eye-catching, made up a lot of ground. Now he's fully fit. He is the wild card that I would bet whatever the ground. I backed him at 66s, but if I hadn't, I'd back him at 50s. Now, I think I'd say to people, in 2-3 days, you're going to get 4 places, maybe 5. That's the way to play him. But he's the wild card I like. His Grand Prix de Paris, he accelerated brilliantly to run down Trinity College. I think it's a really smart colt. I got Australian now, cool. So, yeah, I'm not. He's the real outsider I like.
Cool. Yeah. Still big fans of Lefal. Before the Irish Champion Stakes, I'd been quite a big fan of White Birch, and was interested in him at 50 to 1 for the Arc. He then ran in the Irish Champion Stakes, and was disappointing, maybe a bit strong, but did not put in an Arc winning performance. Still available at 50 to 1. With the grounds drying out, it's not holding the same appeal anymore.
No, me too. Although, of course, as we say, the ground could change. But it was the fact that, like, even he looked so good, retaining his ability, coming back early in the year, unlucky in the Tatsu's Gold Cup, and he was a monster in defeating Auguste Rodin in an awesome time last spring of 24, which, by the way, is the single highest rated piece of form run by any horse in this race that I can find on Timeform. But it was a long time ago, and he didn't really show enough in the Irish Champion. And the final nail in the coffin for me wanting any piece of him, given that I prefer other outsiders, is the issue of 12 furlongs. And he's probably best over 10. I don't think he's ever won over 12 furlongs, is he?
I don't think he's ran very often at 12 furlongs.
I'm going to go 3. And wasn't he in the Derby back in 20?
He was third in the Derby, and then he was 8th of 9 in the Irish Derby.
Okay, we only got 2 pieces of form then.
No, we've got one more. He came 4th of 7. Leopardstown, is that the Mel Stakes or one of the group?
He had to show more at Leopardstown to justify it. Proceed. Maybe they'll be withdrawn. I'm sure they'll withdraw if the rain doesn't come.
Yeah, I wonder if he's still in the Champion Stakes, whether that would make a bit more sense for the Murphy team. But yeah, definitely. Lack of interest for White Birch at 50s for the Arc. And we'll move to the first of the 200 to 1 shots and outsides of the fields. And this is Arrow Eagle for Jean-Claude Rouget.
I'll have a couple of pennies on this boy. I'll tell you why. When I get 5 places, and hopefully he hasn't shortened too much till then, just a couple of pennies, because he was one of the Rouget pair, as a Lefal, that wasn't remotely fit for his trial. I didn't run badly, sort of looked like he was going to make an effort and sort of petered out, looked like an unfit horse. Before that, he'd won 4 on the trot, but sort of minory races. But the last 2 of those wins were against a horse called Sibayan, who's won a Group 2 and a Group 1 since. He beat him twice, actually. Put this way, I've seen Arc winners like Solemia, and I could never have picked Solemia in a blue moon. And if you were to get a shot for the ages in this Arc, it would be from someone like Arrow Eagle. Who knows?
Yeah. I think that would be the last off the bingo card of prices above 10 to 1 that we've backed horses at for this Arc. It's hundreds hasn't been seen yet. Hot as Hell, slightly less appeal, I'd have thought.
Yeah, I was surprised to see this one in it. Wasn't he either the best or close to the best of these? If you look at all their 2-year-old careers, one of the best of these. It just hasn't happened for this year, and I don't know why. And he's even been to America, I think, to try and win a race there, and couldn't do that either.
Yeah,
and I don't quite get it. Then they ran him in was it the Irish Champion Stakes? He came.
Yeah, he came 4th.
It's just not good enough. One thing, the one possibility that could bring about improvement is, of course, his really good 2-year forms on soft ground. And I don't think he's had really soft ground this year. So if the heavens opens on Saturday, and if it's very soft French description or worse, and if they're still offering a 3-figure price, maybe that's a shot for the ages that Hot as Hell can run into a place. It wouldn't be impossible. But yeah, he seems for me to have an absolute mountain to climb. All of these outsiders. All these the last 3 outsiders seem to have mountains to climb.
He beat Delacour Albinos at Doncaster last year, which was on soft grounds, and would encourage you that as a 3-year-old you could get the 12 furlongs on soft, but he's unproven. But that's why he's a price of 100 to 1. Okay, well, that is every horse that I've got here. One more.
No, not one more horse. Well, there might be a supplement to run the last stage on Wednesday. But the one point we've got to address earlier, which is very important. Come Thursday, I believe, we'll have the draw. Now, we're going to have a field of maybe 16, potentially 16, 17 horses, if none drop out because of weather-related reasons. And being wide is bad. If it turns soft, being wide is really, really bad. It's not quite so bad when it's good, but it's not a good thing. So, obviously, everything we said, upgrade or downgrade, if a horse you like suddenly is drawn 17 or 17, downgrade that chances and expect and demand better odds. Equally, you draw the perfect 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 kind of thing. That's a another boost to your chances.
Yeah. Going to be a fascinating week as the weather and the draw plays out in front of us, and they will dictate the market in ways we probably haven't been able to forecast during this preview. But we hope you appreciate us running through every horse, giving a bit of background, giving a bit of a view on how we think they'll go on various grounds, and do let us know how you're looking, what your anti-post positions are, and if you were to have a bet right now, what you're thinking about. So, yeah, thanks again. Like, subscribe, comment, follow us on Twitter, subscribe to our emails, all of the usual. And we look forward to speaking to you again soon. I suspect it'll be pre-Ascot for Champions Weekend after this.
They might. I know you're off to a desert island in a few days, out of touch, but they might see more of me on the Arc undercard if they can face just my ugly mug.
Yeah. Always a very good card, deep fields, and it's just great. It's great racing on that Sunday. So yeah, right. Well, thank you very much, everyone, and then see you again soon.